everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Here with my top 20 scents of 2023. I'm filming it a bit later than I normally do. It is 3rd of January. Normally I do this sort of around Christmas time or just before. I actually did film this a few days ago, but just made an absolute mess of it. Left some scents out, just did not do a good job. And I think that the delays and everything were meant to be, because I actually had one scent in this 20 list that literally just squeezed in and pushed something out on the night of December 31st, 2023. So I guess I just had to wait till I melted that particular scent. So I've done these videos, I've done these top lists ever since I got into vendor wax. So I did my first one in 2019 on Instagram. Every other one has been on YouTube. If I ever get out of my supreme laziness with YouTube, I'll make a playlist with them maybe one day. But yeah, it's a top 20 scents that sort of stuck with me, that I appreciated the most this year. Only rules I have for my list is one, I have to have it. Like, I have to have the scent here. I can't just, have an empty bag or something. So there have been scents that have missed out in previous years that may have missed out this year because I just didn't have them here. The other thing is I don't do repeats. So there are definitely scents in my top 20s from previous years that I still absolutely adore. And they still may have been even my favourite scents this year too, but because I talked about them previously, they don't make it in this year. This year's list was a little bit more difficult to do than previous years because I have been purchasing less wax, which means there has been less new wax, which means there's just less new scents for me, new scents to become favourites, if that makes sense. I also find that when doing this, there's just, I have my favourites, and I find like there's not as many things for me to choose from overall because I either haven't bought as much or I've already talked about it. But look, when I did have a bit of a think through, some of the stuff I've melted this year, had a look at my previous lists, I realised that there's actually quite a few scents that I've loved for a long time that just didn't quite make the cut, but I'm still really, really into them. In fact, some of them I even elevated in my love for them this year, so they've made it into this list. Dog. So yeah, let's get started. I will go from, I do usually do this in chunks by vendor, starting with the vendor that has the fewest scents in the top 20 to the vendor with the most. Similar sorts of vendors every year. I love my vendors. I have my favorites. I think most people do after they've been buying wax for a while. And because I've been purchasing less as well, I just haven't been buying from as many vendors. There's one vendor in particular that has kind of rocketed up. They've featured a couple of times, but this time they've got like 4 scents in the top 20, which is kind of unusual for me. And I'll explain when I get to them. But yeah, no real surprises in terms of the vendors that are here. So the first one I'll start with is a vendor that I only have 1 scent for in the top 20 this year, and that is Pumpkin Parcel Scents. And this is a custom that I did, which is Egypt, Oak Moss, and Palo Santo. So this is probably one of the strongest wax scents I've had from anyone, any vendor, anywhere, including Pumpkin Parcel. It's a scoopable. It's incredible, and it's so strong, and the oak moss is really strong and mossy, and you get that kind of aquatic angrine. Her Palo Santo is quite different. She does not have the same sort of Bath Body Works style Palo Santo that a lot of US vendors have. The first time I got her Palo Santo, it had like a South American, I'm not even going to try to describe the temples, I just don't have the knowledge, but a picture of like some sort of temple like that on the front. And I felt like the scent really does kind of remind me of, like, it gives mossy, it gives slightly, like mossy but kind of sun-weathered stone, and like a little bit of a tinge. I think there's a slight citrus in there. It's a really, really nice scent. And then with the kind of grassy oak moss and Egypt, I can't even describe, but I don't know. I love, love, love this scent. I will definitely need to get a bigger tub of that. Her wax performs by far the best for me in scoop format, I have found. So next I have 2 scents from K Scented Melts. So Kay, I've had Kay, I think Kay is featured almost in every top 20 that I've done, at least one scent, I think. The first one, both scents I have here this year are customs. The first one is one that I've done slightly differently this year to what I did last year, but it is very similar. So I did have this scent as a custom last year too. This year I called it Summer Sparkle. It is blood orange, gold sugar, and ginger ale. I think last time I had, instead of ginger ale, I had fizzy soda. It is a bit better with the ginger ale, I will say. But really, for me, it's all about the fizzy blood orange. Oh, her blood orange is incredible. I had a sample of it recently. I'd never had it on its own. It is just the deepest, juiciest blood orange around. And then you add that gingery fizz and the gold sugar. So the gold sugar to me is what makes this stand out and makes it different, even though it's kind of subtle. Because what I was going for with adding gold sugar and what I got is I wanted to add a slight bit of creaminess to it without it being like a really strong creamy soda blend. Gold sugar has citrus notes, it has creme brulee notes, I think it has a couple of other creamy notes, and it has a little bit of sandalwood and stuff. So not that you can smell sandalwood in this blend, but it just adds a little bit more complexity to it, but it adds the creaminess in a very slightly citrusy way. So I just love the way that those scents come together in this blend. You know, they did a fantastic job with that one. The next one, I haven't even melted this bag yet, but I have melted a bag which was also very similar to this one last year. So this is zucchini bread and honey pineapple. Last time I did this, it had mallow fluff in it. I don't think it needs the mallow fluff because I think the honey pineapple is sweet enough on its own. So that's why I skipped it. But even so, this year, last year, it's been an absolute favourite of mine. I really need to start melting this now. I should have melted it this morning. There's something about a zucchini bread pineapple scent that just makes me weak. And this one is the best one. Honey pineapple, this K oil, I haven't encountered it anywhere else. Maybe vendors are using it and not calling it honey pineapple. I don't know, but I feel like I haven't smelled it either. It's syrupy and it's sweet, and I don't always love super sweet fruity scents, but something about a really sweet pineapple scent, just, I love it. And against the zucchini bread, it's incredible. It's like crack to me. Honestly, it is so good. So, that one. Next, I have a vendor that has, I've got a couple of vendors with 3 scents, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So, well, one with 2. You know, there's another vendor here with 2. Sorry, I was much better organised last time I filmed this, but now everything's just kind of sitting there. So this vendor, oh no, they've got 3 as well. See, so all right. So I've got 2 vendors that have 3 scents here. I have one vendor that has 4, and then a vendor that has 7. I wonder if you can guess which vendor has 7 scents in my top 20 this year. So the first vendor that has 3 is L3 Waxy Wonders. Again, a vendor that features every year in my top lists. I did purchase a bit from L3 this year. I did enjoy a lot of stuff. There just was only a few scents that really stuck out to me to be in the top 20. So anyway, the first one I have is Pineapple Cranberry Ginger Ale. This scent, it's so weird that I love it because her cranberry is not a favourite of mine. To me, it smells really sour, really unpleasant, but for some reason in this blend, it works. Sometimes I wonder if I did my top 20 in the winter, if it would come out differently. Maybe I should start doing a top 10 every 6 months, because I'm realising as I look around, I'm like, I've got a lot of fruity scents in this top list this year. So maybe I'll do that. For 2024, I'll do a top 10 in June and a top 10 in December, and I'm just deciding that now. Anyway, back onto the scent. Again, ginger ale, love pineapple. The cranberry, to me, it adds depth and tartness without the sour cranberryness that I don't like in her cranberry oil usually. I don't know how, but it just, and it's so strong, and it's just one of those summer scents that I just keep wanting to come back to. So I love that one. Next one I have is Fresh Picked Strawberries. sugar cakes and mango sorbet. So this one is the sugar cakes part of this is fluffy yellow cake batter with whole vanilla buttercream frosting and crushed vanilla wafers on top. I've nearly finished a whole chunk of this so far. This is the second. I've got 2 more chunks. This one and another one. Somehow this one manages to be like cannoli and vanilla with loads of mango sorbet and like loads of fruit. I've never had cannoli with fruit, to be honest, but this smells like cannoli. Like I can smell the cannoli crust. I don't know how yellow cake batter and crushed vanilla wafers, because crushed vanilla wafers does not normally smell like that, but together with the rest of it, it's delicious. It's more fruity than it is like, you know, shell or wafer like, but this is one of the few scents where I've really smelled and really enjoyed that wafer scent in there. So love that one a lot. And then the last one that I have from L3 is lemon curd, vanilla buttercream frosting, sugared shortbread and zucchini bread. So hang on a sec. Okay. I've got a few in this now. It's just so sugared shortbread and zucchini bread. I've loved that combo for a long time, especially with buttercream frosting. I've had that with wild berry mousse and a few other things, and it is just an incredible bakery combo for me. The buttercream frosting is just beautiful with those bakery scents. Lemon curd, I'm not always a huge fan of lemon curd, but for some reason in here, it's got just the right amount of bakery, so it's a strong lemon, but it's also not overpowering. It's just perfectly done. So yes, this has been like my favorite go-to lemon bakery all year. And I do like a spot of lemon bakery. I've got one of the scent that's at least part lemon bakery in here. So yes, definitely a really, really good scent. If I can get it back in the bag. She's been doing these really small bags for the bitty betties, and I find them difficult. So that was L3. Now I have another vendor who has featured a lot in my top 20s, probably less this year than previous years. Super Tarts. So, not that I have any problems with Super Tarts. I still love my Super Tarts, but like I said, I've purchased less. Super Tarts has been pouring a lot less because they've downsized the business. And so it's just been in that with less stuff being poured, me purchasing less. I have placed a couple of orders from Super Tarts throughout the year, but nowhere near how much I used to. And I don't know if it'll ever go back to the way that it used to, and that's okay. Like, it's fine. I'm trying to cut back on the amount of wax that I buy anyway. I will still go in on like things like Wax Wednesday for my favorites, but yeah. Anyway, so the first scent that I have, and I've been actually holding on to this. This is one where I realized I was down to my last couple of pieces, and I went, I am keeping this for my top 20. This is Tarts. This is blue sugar, tea and cakes, and I think whipped cream. And I don't know, because I never in a million years would have paired blue sugar with tea and cakes, how this scent works, but it just does. So, so good. I don't understand it. I can't even explain what it smells like, but it just really, really, really works. I think blue sugar works quite well with citrus type scents in general, and tea and cakes has a citrusy kind of lean, so something in that, but it just works. I have Yippee-Ki-Yay. I'm actually surprised Yippee-Ki-Yay hasn't featured in any of my top 20s yet. This is ice sugar cookies and pine needles. I have melted, I reckon I'd almost say, I don't know if it's the scent I've melted the most, but it's got to be close. Like, in terms of scents, Super Tart scents that I've just melted so much of, Yippee-Ki-Yay has to be right up there. I've done multiple clamshells now. I'm about halfway through this band bag. That might not sound like a lot of wax to some people, but for me, that's a lot over time. Especially because I didn't get into Yippee-Ki-Yay when I first got into Super Tarts. It was a couple of years in. But it is just the best pine cookie scent that I've had. I've tried a lot. I love almost every pine and cookie scent that I've tried from pretty much every vendor that I've tried. But this one is still my favorite. And this year I discovered blending with it. And that has just been like an absolute revelation for me. It doesn't blend well with everything, but when you find the right combo, it is incredible. So strawberry pound cake, that's probably my favorite. And strawberry pound cake with pine, I think is just going to be a winner regardless. But with lemon curd, I remember it being really, really good. And there was something else. It did not go well with blueberry. I do remember that. So yeah, I feel like it's taken on a bit of a new lease of life lease on life for me because of just how versatile it is. And then the strawberry pound cake. So this has been probably my funnest. I don't know if fun's the right word. This was good fun this year. The strawberry pound cake journey with Super Tarts. So I think it was at the start of the year I received an order that had strawberry pound cake as a sample. I don't know if she'd poured it. Was it a sample or I can't remember. I think she poured it as a like a blend, like she was pouring blender, like, you know, single sense as blender kind of things, either in clamshells, I think it was. I think I purchased it. I did. And then I remember melting it and going, this is like the most incredible strawberry pound cake I've ever smelled. Like I've smelled quite a few now. And some strawberry pound cakes, some vendor strawberry pound cakes I really dislike. Some of them I really enjoy. But this one was just like next level freaking good in terms of just the strawberry, everything, like all of the cakey elements, the buttercream, everything, just perfect. And I remember posting in the groups asking, like, has this strawberry pound cake just like been in blends and I've completely just missed it? Because I thought I was pretty well, you know, across every single scent that Super Tarts had ever had. And I had not seen strawberry pound cake as a note. I had seen a scent with pound cake and strawberry, Ruby Slippers, and I did not like that scent at all. So I asked, and Brandy checked, and she was like, oh, knocking things. She was like, no, I actually haven't used it. And so then she did a whole sampler, and the sampler was amazing. And then we were able to get band bags from the sampler. So I actually didn't buy every scent of the sampler in band bags. I just bought the ones I really loved. The strawberry pound cake on its own, and then the strawberry pound cake plus Palo Santo, and the strawberry pound cake plus Salty Sea Air. The strawberry pound cake plus Palo Santo, honestly, could have been in my top 20 as well. That has been one of my all-time favorite combos of the year, but I didn't want to include both, so I just went the strawberry pound cake. But definitely adding Palo Santo to this just shoots it off to the stratosphere. So, and I've done that as well with I was in a Bath and Body Works once, and I had the two of the room sprays, and I sprayed both the Palo Santo and the strawberry pound cake, and then, you know, must have picked some up on me. And it was the most delicious smell I walked around with all day. I would love it in a body scent. Like, it was just so good. So good. All right. So I have one more vendor with 4 cents, and then I'm on to the last big one. So the vendor with 4 cents in my top 20, Rosegirls. So Rosegirls has been in my top 20 before, but not this many. I think maybe 1 or 2 cents here or there. Rosegirls and I just feel like we really clicked this year. I don't know. We haven't previously. I mean, I've been purchasing from Rosegirls ever since I started buying wax, but I just I think that some of it's been performance, in that her wax doesn't throw quite as long as some of my other favorite vendors and things like that, but probably more to it because it's done well enough. Her wax is good, it's fine. But more than that, I just say a lot of the times when I look at the list, there's just not enough in there for me to really go and to be worth enough to place an order. But all that seemed to change this year, and I don't know if it's just my taste changed or she's just been pouring some absolute fire blends this year for my personal preferences. It's probably a bit of both, to be honest. But I've placed multiple orders this year. Like, even though this has been one of my lowest wax ordering years, it's probably been one of my biggest Rosegirls ordering years. So with all of that babble, let's get into the 4 cents that I picked for my top 20. The first one is Blackberry Caramel Apples. This is sticky caramel, apples, and juicy blackberry. I first melted this one on Halloween, and it was the most perfect scent for Halloween I've ever had. So I'm very picky about my caramel with apple, but caramel apples generally is okay. On cold, the caramel still smells a little bit too caramelly for me, but something about the way that juicy apple and the blackberry come together, and it just becomes so fruity with the caramel. I adore this. And it was so strong, and it threw for so long, and it was just like It was like fruity, but the little bit of caramel just gave it that kind of Halloween depth. So, loved that. The next thing I had, another one. This was a relatively late entry to my list as well. I melted it on Christmas Eve. I loved it so much. I left it running the entire next day on Christmas Day. Big Neck Energy. So, Oh Christmas Tree, Marshmallow Fireside, and Backroads, which is bergamot, ginger, vetiver, pine. I already have Backroads, and I do love that scent. It's a really... something about the warmth of the vetiver and the ginger and everything together with the pine. It's just a really warm, cozy tree scent. But then you put the Marshmallow Fireside, so the slight sweet smokiness, and Oh Christmas Tree, and it just... it was next level. It was the perfect Christmas scent for me. Like, just pine and trees and warm spices without being, you know, cinnamon and nutmeg and all of that stuff that seems to go into all of the Christmas blends. It's not that. It's a different type of spice, and it is so good. So yeah, this just, yeah. Normal, like, I was surprised. Normally I would pick new scents for Christmas morning, but that one, and again, it was still going really strongly. My warmers turn off overnight, so it wasn't like they ran overnight. But the next morning when it came on, I was like, nah, this is what I want for Christmas morning. So, perfect. Mamma Mia. So this is, I think, a Mario melter. Juicy blueberry Sicilian lemon cookies and cupcakes at Tiffany's. So, Sicilian lemon cookies for a long time has been one of my absolute favourite lemon bakery scents. Like I said, I love a good lemon bakery. Sicilian lemon cookies is just this beautiful, sweet lemon cookie scent. And it is just... I've smelled so many sweet lemon cookie scents, but Sicilian lemon cookies is still one of the best ones. And then this has some added sweetness from the cupcakes at Tiffany's. Normally I don't like cupcakes at Tiffany's, but somehow in here it's not interfering. It's just, it adds a little bit of richness. And then the blueberries smell amazing in here too. Not overpowering, not over sweet. You know, you still get a bit of tartness from the lemon, but it's just, this is just so many blueberry lemon blends that I've tried, and I'd have to say this is one of the best, if not the best, that I've ever had. So, love that one. The last scent from Rosegirls that I have is Autumn Mountain. So this is Cider Lane Dunk My Donut Pumpkin Pecan Waffles. I actually finished off a bag of this last year or early this year. I can't remember. But this has been just... And it is just the perfect... like, perfect Cider Lane blend. I've tried a lot of Cider Lane blends. I don't know if it's the way they blend or their oils, but a lot of vendor cider lanes smell really soapy to me. Happens with cider too. I don't know why. Cider scents just sometimes they smell like apple soap, and I hate it. But this one doesn't do it at all, and it's not super bakery-like, but you can definitely smell the bakery elements there. Like, I can't smell donuts or really strong pumpkin pecan waffles, but they just add this extra sweet kind of slightly bakery scent to the Cider Lane. So I adore this one. It's just been, yeah, like I will go through, I feel like I will order a bag of it every year. It's just when I want to melt something that's Cider Lane-esque, that is the scent that I will go for. Alright, now I'm on to the last vendor in my top 20. And this vendor has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I'm counting everything because last time I tried to film this, I left 2 scents out. So this vendor, probably no surprises, it is Teddy Bees. Teddy Bees is the only vendor that I haven't really pulled back on purchasing this from this year. I've gone all out in the pre-orders. I've done at least one ready to ship. Like I've still been purchasing full strength from Teddy Bees, even though I've cut back my spending elsewhere. So definitely no surprises that Teddy Bees is in the top 20. That said, only 2 scents in this. No, 3 of the 7 scents are new scents to me this year, and 4 of them are scents that I've had in previous years. So I guess that's true. I was surprised actually when I looked at my top 20 list that a few of these scents hadn't featured previously. I don't know why, they just hadn't. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. I'll go from smallest to largest. So I'll go the 2 souffles that I have first, and I need more of both of these. I only have what's left of the souffle for both of these. So the first one is Late Night Bake. Late Night Bake is sweet lavender sugar cookies, pink sugar with a background of Palo Santo. So actually, I think I need to talk about two scents together when I talk about this one. So the other scent that I need to talk about is Boudoir. Boudoir is pink sugar Palo Santo sugar cookies. A few similar notes in these two. Pink sugar, Palo Santo, sugar cookies. I don't normally like sweet lavender, but I bought Late Night Bake because I knew how much I love Boudoir. Just something about the way the pink sugar, Palo Santo, and sugar cookies comes together just does something for me. And I was absolutely right. It just does this, and the sweet lavender smells good here too. I don't know how, because I don't normally like it, but with the Palo and the pink sugar and all of that, it just becomes this incredible scent. So I need to get this one on a list again soon, because I'm scared to melt the rest of it because I just love it so much. And this is all I have. But yeah, Boudoir as well. So Boudoir, I've had a couple of clamshells of this, and now I have this and a loaf. I'm not normally someone who gets a loaf and something else, but because I love this one so much. Again, just the way the Palo Santo and the pink sugar cookie work with the pink sugar and the cookie, it all just, it's addictive, that scent. It is addictive. So I love that one very, very much. Next, this is the one that only got scraped in on the 31st of December in the afternoon. And it did push a scent out, one that may feature next year, we'll see. But I just loved it so much, it had to be there. So this is Silver and Gold from Teddy Bees. Sensual vanilla, sparkling amber, cashmere woods, toasted marshmallows, and pink lavender. So on cold, I get not much from this at all. Yeah, this gives away nothing on cold. But when it warms up, my God, it comes alive. So the sparkling amber. Now that description of amber did ring a bit of a bell. I was sure I'd seen it elsewhere. And I think it is the amber scent that is in Super Tarts. I think it's the Hills Have Eyes. And it's got like hazelnut and stuff like that, which I've always loved that blend as well. Almost enough to make a top 20, but I do think that one probably just hasn't got enough oomph to it. No such issues with this. And then somehow the pink lavender and marshmallows, that pink toasted marshmallow scent, together with that specific amber scent, just mind-blowing. Like crazy how good it was, how cozy but not heavy or winter-like. Like it really was a great one for, I wouldn't say for a hot New Year's, but it was like kind of like a normal kind of spring summer day here. And it just, it gave this kind of sophisticated warmth to the house without smelling kind of cluttered and cozy, like overly, you know, winter-like. So I picked it purely for the name Silver and Gold and for the way that the souffle looked, with all that kind of silver and gold glitter on it, but I fell in love. So there you go, Silver and Gold, amazing. So I have 4 more scents left. So I was going to go biggest to smallest, but now I'm just grabbing, apparently. So this loaf, I'm surprised. I've had it for a while. The Riverlands. So Palo Santo, Cool Mountain Air, Balsam Patchouli, Crisp Melon, Cedar, Crunchy Leaves, and Sandalwood. This is, if you've smelled Breath of God from Lush, this is basically that with Palo Santo, possibly some other stuff. I don't know how or what she's blended it, but definitely the heart of this blend is Breath of God. Which is this incredible, like, woody, it's got it's not like super melony. You don't smell melon, but you definitely get the lightness of fruit in there. And then with the woods and the airs and just everything in it, it's just a perfect blend. I feel like I sit on it, I sleep on it a bit, because this loaf is 2 years old now and I still haven't finished it, but it's just every time I melt it, it's just happy place, you know. Pacific Northwest Winter. So this is fresh snow, pine sap, fresh mistletoe, vanilla balsam, the slight hint of cranberries, and burning fireplaces off in the distance. I've smelled a lot of Pacific Northwest inspired scents, a lot of very heavy pine scents. This one is just my favorite. It's just got the best blend. The vanilla balsam, there's only a hint of vanilla balsam. Like, vanilla balsam can be very overpowering in a blend, but in this one it really is just a touch. And I love the slight tart cranberry in here too. Oh, it's just... I know I said I picked a lot of summer scents to this list, and I did, but this is definitely more winter heavy. But I mean, I could probably melt it all year round just because it's got those delicious tree notes. So yes, Pacific Northwest Winter has been an absolute staple for me. Peach Cobbler Circus Cookies. Another one I was really surprised hasn't been in previous lists because I've loved this one for quite some time. It might be because I think I did run out of it for a bit. Anyway, it's basically the Frosted Circus Sugar Cookie scent with the Peach Cobbler. Her Frosted Circus Sugar Cookies is a delicious blender. It is a beautiful, sweet, iced cookie scent. It's not nutty. It's not anything like that. And so this is a sweet peach bakery, but it's not like a overly sugary peach bakery. It's just... it's not like spiced the way that some peach some peach bakeries have got like loads of cinnamon and things like that. But not this one. It's just absolutely delicious. I don't think I'll ever get tired of that scent. And then the last one, another one I was really surprised because I stalked the group, the pre-order lists for like, it felt like years before I got this one back on the list. Those of us, there is a teddy bear fan club out there, Mrs. Teddy Bear. We got this up on the list by nominating and voting, and finally it got up. So a blend of teddy bear biscuits, cherry pie filling, and whipped cream. This one, it's all about the cherry pie filling. And I know a lot of people say they don't like cherry. I don't even particularly love cherry that much. This is not your standard wax cherry. This is something different that actually smells like cherry pie filling. And something about the slight spice that you get from the teddy bear biscuits, because it's got like nutmeg and things like that, just makes it this beautiful, warm, doughy pie, cherry pie type scent. I adore it. Every time I melt it, it makes me happy. It is just, there is no other cherry bakery out there that I'm aware of that smells as good as that one. So that is, I should count before I finish. No, that is the last of my top 20 list for the year. So yeah, it was a good melting year. I still had a good time, even though I didn't buy as much. My goal last year was to have less wax than what I started, because previous years I've always had more at the end of the year than I have at the start. I did meet that goal. I would like to push that a little bit further this year. I do have a couple of holidays to sort of pay for this year again, so my savings are going to go that way instead of this way. I'm also reading more, so I'm buying books now. So I think what I'm going to try to do with my wax this year, it's really the forwarder costs that are just astronomical these days, forwarding from America to Australia. So I think I am going to try to keep myself to no more than maybe 4, maximum 5 forwards out for the year. It's a bit tricky to plan for that because I only get 45 days worth of storage at my forwarder. So it does mean that I need to, order things at certain times so they all land around in the same month so I can ship them all out. So probably a little bit more planning required to achieve that. But really, if I am going to purchase any vendor wax from the US at all this year, I really need to be keeping those forwarder costs at a minimum because they're killer. Like, I just can't afford to spend that much on the forwarder and still do fun things like holidays. So that's 2024 in a nutshell. And yeah, like I said, I may try and do top 10 mid-year and end of year and see if that brings a little bit more winter kind of scent into the mix. So yeah, I hope you're all doing really well, and I'll talk to you all again